Hello, Kensington Knights. Today we are going to grow theories about characters based on their feelings. Now, in this section or series of lessons, we're going to be focusing on the character's perspective. And we're going to look at that in several different ways. And today's way is going to be examining and evaluating a character's feelings and how that influences how events are described in the story. This is your notebook, and I know it looks a little jumbled, so I want to walk you through it. First of all, you know, page number, title, today's date, I can statement. All right, put them down in this order in your notebook, and this is where you're going to do your stop and jot. Okay, so this is a reminder of skills that you've learned in the past since second grade about character traits and about point of view. You know that first person has pronouns like I, me, my, we, us, our, okay? Because it means that I am the narrator and I am part of the story. And I am the storyteller, all right? Then if you pull this little tab down, it talks to you about second person, which has absolutely nothing to do with literature. That has to do with technology manuals. It has to do with commands. It has to do with recipes, anything that's telling you, the reader, how to do something. Okay? So in literature, second person is never an option. So then when you look at third person explains that it's someone outside of the story viewing everything. Viewing everything could be one person outside of the story viewing it as a bystander, or it could be one person outside of the story that can read the mind of the main character and view everything as a bystander. Or it could mean that it's almost like a god figure, okay, that is watching everything, okay, knows what everyone is thinking and feeling, and shares that information with the reader. Okay, so those are the three different types of third person, and it's outlined in this little point of view anchor chart. This is one of my slides, and it talks about how you already know how to look at character traits to get a deeper understanding of the character. And now we're going to bump it up a little, and we're going to look at the character's feelings to understand whether those feelings are positive or negative. This is also a reminder that thinking about your character's past, feelings, actions, what they say, and their thoughts is always going to help you dig deeper into your understanding of the text. And then finally, this is an extensive list. This is just a little example list, but this is an extensive list of not all, but a lot of positive feelings. And then if you fold that down, there's a lot of negative feelings that characters can experience. Most of the feelings in literature are all about those positive feelings or those negative feelings. The neutral feelings are generally for writing about information or persuasive pieces in which you're just presenting both sides of the argument and you don't really have feelings one way or the other about it. But generally in literature, we're focused on the positive and the negative feelings of a character. So again, you know about characters' traits. The first thing that you want to consider when looking at a character's perspective or how they see the world around them, okay, and how they describe and influence how the story is told is by first examining the character traits of the character. And then the second thing is to examine the character's feelings, which is what our focus is for today. A way to help us focus on the character's feelings is to ask, what are the character traits and what are the character's feelings about another character, an event, setting, those types of things. So this is a passage that hopefully you have already read, okay? It's bed If you haven't read it and you've listened to the read aloud, then you're familiar with what's going on. This is part of your printouts, part of the things that you'll need to print out so that you can reference it during the mini lesson and the guided practice. Okay, so after reading Bed, I came up with the character traits for Keck. He is a hopeful character. He is younger than Ganwar, and he's a fifth grader. And examples from the text that show this are, my aunt glances at Ganwar. You'll see, Dave. Keck finds the sun when the sky is dark. Hoping isn't foolish, I say. That's a quote from Keck on page 44. And a man does not give up, I say. That's another quote from Keck on page 44. So we're looking at what he says to understand who he is. And we're also looking at what he does. Now, if we look at Bed and we think about his character's feelings, when we go back into the passage, it says, there are more? I ask, how can that be? So if we go back into the passage, here we go. This is what he's talking about. So you always want to be able to go back in the passage and prove what you think about that character. So I feel that amazed is the best word to describe the fact that they have a kingdom here, a TV machine, a sitting place, and a cooking fire. Okay? Then also look at how he is surprised. The smile on Ganwar's face is a surprise. He tells us that he's surprised in the passage. There's also a time where he's silly. I laugh too. Too bad I don't look like him, I say. Now, it would be a good idea when you are organizing your information if you put down the page number in which these things happen, just like I modeled right here. An example of him being content is, I have a silly face, to tell you the truth of it. I have the eyelashes of a girl, as Lual and Ganwar like to remind me. My eyes look like my ears look like they want to fly me away, and my smile takes up most of my face. And then there's also a time that he's confused, and so I kind of consider being confused a negative feeling because people don't really like to feel confused. They like to know what it is that's going on. Okay? And so that's our analysis of Keck's feelings, and we already did the character traits in our minds before thinking about his feelings. All right? And then this is the guided practice that we have. We're going to dig deep and look at Ganwar. And we see that Ganwar's personality trait, one of his major personality traits, is that he's discouraged. And this is all the evidence that he's discouraged. And when you come to the live meeting, you can discuss Ganwar's feelings and information that's provided in the poem Bed. And we'll talk about what his feelings are in that passage. And so now this is the final piece. Look at the theories that we're growing about Keck and Ganwar. Today, what you're expected to do is use these two questions to help you determine what the feelings of the characters are and how that influences how the story is told. So my example with Home of the Brave is, after examining Keck's feelings, I noticed that he has more positive feelings than negative feelings. When I add what I know about his character traits, I see that Keck is a very positive character. I'm growing theories about reasons for his positive attitude. It could be because he is young, or because America is new to him, or it could be a bit of both. Remember, you're practicing the learning target by asking these questions and creating a stop and jot on your book of choice. And here's an example for you to follow. Okay, boys and girls, So that's all. I want you to make sure that you do come to the guided practice. Even if you think you don't have questions, come to the reading guided practice with me on Teams. And nights, read on.